A warm welcome. You're watching Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle Ferguson-Biahi. These are the top stories on the continent. The second major attack by Al-Shabaab in a week. The militant group launched a deadly assault on a Kenyan military base inside Somalia. Both insurgents and the Kenyan army have claimed dozens of casualties on the opposing side. The French-Congolese superstar Maitre Gims arrives in the Guinean capital ahead of a concert scheduled for this Saturday. The artist, though, took time out to visit an orphanage. Our team were there to meet him. And Africa Cup of Nations fans eagerly anticipate the competition's quarter-finals on Saturday. Senegal face off with Cameroon. Our correspondents went to meet the fans for who dancing, drumming and singing are the order of the day. But first, the militant group Al-Shabaab attacked a Kenyan military base inside Somalia on Friday, with both insurgents and the Kenyan army claiming dozens of deaths on the opposing sides. An Al-Shabaab spokesman claimed his fighters had killed at least 51 Kenyan soldiers during the attack in the lower Juba region. Kenya's army, though, denied that, saying scores of militants were in fact killed. According to unconfirmed reports, several Kenyan policemen who crossed into Somalia to help soldiers at the military base returned to Nairobi injured. Friday marks the second major attack by Al-Shabaab this week. At least 28 people were killed on Wednesday when the group hit a hotel in the capital, Mogadishu. In other news, Congo-Brazzaville has been hosting a mini-summit on Libya this Friday in a bid to find a solution for the country's ongoing crisis. Congo's President Denis Sassou Nguesso currently heads up the African Union's high-level committee on Libya. Chad's Idriss Déby, Niger's Mahamadou Issoufou and South Africa's Jacob Zuma are among heads of state who attended the talks. Well, this as well as Libya's Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj. After the fall of Libya's longtime leader Muammar Gaddafi back in 2011, the country descended into chaos. A summit of African heads of state will open in Addis Ababa on Monday. A day after Gambia's new president, Adama Barrow, returned to take power, Gambians say they're optimistic about the future of the West African nation. Well, Barrow clinched victory in presidential elections in December, but longtime leader Yahya Jammeh rejected calls to step aside, forcing his opponent to be sworn in at the Gambian embassy in neighbouring Senegal. Well, earlier residents in the capital, Banjul, thanked Senegal for its intervention, as well as regional leaders who helped work out a deal for Jammeh to be exiled in Equatorial Guinea. Have a listen.
We pray for ECOWAS, and we want to thank the people of Senegal and the Senegalese president, Macky Sall, because he played a big role in this. Sall did something that Gambians will never be able to repay.
Everybody is happy. Jammeh was a loser, and we drove him away. Both old and young welcomed our leader yesterday, and now Gambia is free.
Well, staying with Gambia, the regional bloc ECOWAS said it's to scale back the military force that secured the return of President Barrow. Officials say the decision to slowly cut back on the military deployment was prompted by Barrow's arrival and, quote, a positive appraisal of the security situation in the country. The French-Congolese superstar Maitre Gims has arrived in the Guinean capital ahead of a concert which is set for Saturday. Well, the artist, who's sold 1 million albums, took time out to visit an orphanage during his visit to Conakry. Our team were there to meet him.
Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour.
A musical first in the Guinean capital. The Franco-Congolese artist Maitre Gims kicked off his first solo tour in Conakry. Despite the delay caused by his plane, around 100 fans waited late into the night to cheer him on. On his second day in the country, Maitre Gims had a special request to visit an orphanage. In the north of the capital, at the Rosina Maris Child Rehabilitation Centre, the artist had some good news for the children.
I'm very happy to be here, to see you. Every time I come to Africa, I like to see children, because I also have children that are your age. I have children that are the same age as the little one here, 2 years old. And I have a daughter who's 8 years old. Well, here I am, and I'm very glad to see you smile. I brought a lot of gifts.
And after gifts, time to strut his stuff. On the other side of the city, the local press awaits. In front of the media, organiser Tidiane Souma expressed his dismay at the struggle he faced to organise logistics for the concert, a budget estimated at €200,000.
I do so much for the youth. When such an event, the concert of Maitre Gims is done in Abidjan for 25,000 to 30,000 CFA francs, and in Guinea a ticket costs €3. I have the feeling of not being supported in my country.
This concert promises to be a personal challenge for Maitre Gims. The singer hopes to attract a bigger crowd than his predecessors, Black M or MHD, who drew a crowd of nearly 100,000 fans.
In other news, in the Africa Cup of Nations, Ghana are hopeful that skipper Asamoah Gyan will be match fit to play in the quarter-finals against DR Congo on Sunday. This after tests on a thigh injury he suffered on Wednesday proved to be encouraging. Well, the Ghana FA say the strikers returned to the Black Stars camp in northern Gabon to continue his treatment there. Meanwhile, in the quarter-finals on Saturday, Burkina Faso will face Tunisia. Senegal, meanwhile, go head-to-head with Cameroon. Well, Senegalese supporters have been meeting in Franceville to support their national side. There were drums, singing and dancing. Our correspondent sent us this report.
Senegal's most ardent fans are busy training ahead of their country's quarter-final match against Cameroon. 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. But don't tell them it's just a game. Here, being a fan might as well be a job.
Haven't you seen us? We practice every day, it's our job. We are strong and serious about it.
And they have to practice. Whether Senegal wins or loses, the fans don't care. But missing even a minute of the match isn't an option.
We do this during the match, for all 90 minutes of it. Even if the players leave, we keep beating our drums. We're there 24/7. We're behind the national team of Senegal. We're going all the way.
Senegal is one of the favorites in the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. For the fans, there's no doubt. This is their year. The first time in history, the Lions of Teranga will bring home the championship.
We're missing it. We're missing it. We're missing it. I can't find the words to say how much we want this trophy. We're going to succeed. The Lions are going to roar.
These fans are nicknamed the 12th Lion of Teranga, and they promise they will be hundreds strong to drum, dance, and shout their team on to victory over Cameroon in the quarterfinal.
And finally, Percy Maymela is a self-taught artist from Pretoria who discovered his passion for drawing at a rather young age. But it wasn't until some salt spilled on the floor where he worked that he discovered a unique ability to turn an everyday item into realistic works of art. France 24, Nicolas Germain has this report.
Barack Obama made out of salt. The author of this unusual portrait is 31-year-old South African Percy Maymela.
What I love about salt is it's cheaper, man. 5 rand, you give me 5 rand, you give me just a black space or a dark space, then I can produce a masterpiece. And then I can reuse the salt and produce another masterpiece.
Maymela had always dreamed of becoming an artist, but initially, to make ends meet, he worked in a shop. Then one day, 3 years ago, he walked into the shop's storeroom and found salt spilt on the floor. That's what sparked his project. Despite his obvious talent, he still struggles to make a living.
It's draining. Sometimes you get clients, sometimes you get proper gigs and stuff. But for me, I'm still in a learning stage. I wouldn't say like it's joyous and stuff, but I'm still in a learning stage when I can see a light, and a very big light at the end of the tunnel.
Maymela, who lives in Pretoria, also works in pencil. You can discover his portraits on the online artist platform artwanted.com.
Well, that's it from us for now. Your Africa team will be back in about 50 minutes' time. Do join us then. Up next, though, Shona's here with more international headlines.